the Twitter thing. Again, I think we're all trying to wrap our hands around that, but is it like, well, Dr. Snyder's going to eat lunch now, or is it, Dr. Snyder's taking the day off to go ride his bike, or is it actually, hey, we're having an educational meeting at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night?
Well, it's like a lot of these new technologies. There's a lot of enthusiasm right now. I find it hard to believe that someone would find my life all that interesting. But I think its main value is it's really like computer texting, like we already do with our phones, brief messages. And again, we're still trying to figure out how best to incorporate that into the practice so that patients are able to get good, real-time information. So the most important thing about all these computer sites, about all the social networking, is that you commit the time and the resources to it.
I actually am very interested in what you're having for lunch, Brett, so I'm going to be signing up to your Twitter account immediately following this show.
Terrific.
So let's get back to one more online content issue, and that's, I think you've heard of the site myfreebreastimplants.com. That's a site where women are allowed to sign up and receive donations to ultimately, over time, pay for plastic surgery procedures, primarily on this site, breast augmentation. We had one of our producers sign up for the site and do some investigative reports, and instead of having it be just regular donations, what it appears to us is that the people that are signed up are being solicited for basically hardcore pornography. What do you know about this site, and what are your thoughts?
Well, we actually had a look at that site, myself and some of our staff, and it seemed to us that it was a cross between Craigslist and a 900 number site or something like that. It actually seemed pretty unsavory. But again, this goes back to our discussion earlier that when patients are on the internet and they're looking at these sites, it's important to understand that this site is not a plastic surgeon site. This is at best, a creative way of getting funding for plastic surgery. Plastic surgery, one of the goals of plastic surgery is making yourself more attractive. And in a lot of ways, it's making yourself more sexually attractive. And so, obviously, when you've got a freewheeling place like the internet, you're going to have sites that either blur or violate ethical boundaries. This is certainly one of those sites. And again, it shouldn't reflect on plastic surgery in general. It's really, again, kind of goes back to those celebrity plastic surgery sites where it's just almost a novelty. But again, something that I think plastic surgeons at least need to be aware of.
Because a lot of these online sites are such a wild card, that's actually one reason we're sitting here today. The Plastic Surgery Channel was created to have a reliable, credible source of information for patients. But in addition to that, what's your recommendations about where patients can find reliable information on the internet?
Well, I actually encourage my patients to go online. That's one of the first questions I have with new patients. Have you done some research online about this, and what have you found out? There are a lot of very credible sites. I tell patients to begin with some of the bigger sites, like the site of the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, the American Society for Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, and there's a lot of very good sites established by practice surgeons for their prospective patients. There's a world of information out there for patients, most of which, or much of which, is actually very good. But patients can never take off the skeptical glasses. They've always got to look at everything they see. Even reputable practices will sometimes promote techniques or devices that are not proven and that patients may ultimately not be spending their money wisely. So you've always got to have that air of skepticism whenever you're online.
And then again, on the more positive side, I wanted to ask you about, we've talked a lot about various sites and certainly some drawbacks, concerns that we have, but certainly the surgeons, for example, if somebody makes a decision to have surgery with Dr. Snyder, they can go on your site and actually learn a lot about you and your philosophy and really help educate themselves. And ultimately, that we know the more educated patients are, the better they do with procedures. So in that light, especially the surgeon's own website can be an incredible resource of information that ultimately improves the patient's outcome.
Well, that's absolutely correct. The thing that I really like to see is the patient and their spouse, or the patient and their family or friend or sister have actually been on our website. They come in, they've actually done their homework, They know my credentials or my partner's credentials and our background, and that's what I like to hear. What I don't like to hear is the day before surgery or at the pre-op, someone asking those kind of questions that you really want your patients to know well in advance. The informed patient is the patient that's going to have the highest possibility of a good outcome. It certainly doesn't guarantee it, because plastic surgery still has its pitfalls. But the better informed the patient is, the better their potential for a good outcome.
I think that's a great comment to end on, Brett. It's been great having you here. Appreciate all your comments and knowledge about media and plastic surgery, and we'll be sure to get you back out on your bike very soon here. So
terrific. Looking forward to it, Bill.
Thanks a lot. Here at the Plastic Surgery Channel, the information you watch and read is absolutely unbiased. We don't advocate any particular doctor, procedure, or manufacturer. We do allow doctors who support the channel to have their contact information on our site, but we want you to know that every surgeon listed is a board-certified plastic surgeon and a member of either American Society of Plastic Surgeons or the American Society for Aesthetic Plastic Surgery. We also want to hear from you. Do you think consumers and patients can develop a false sense of confidence about a procedure or a surgeon from the web or TV media? Take the poll at theplasticsurgerychannel.com. You can also join our Facebook page or send us your tweets on Twitter. Thank you for joining us on Plastic Surgery Talk. We'll see you soon.